Okay, so I'll tell you what I've got first and then we'll make the project. So I've got a piece of the Prized Peony Designer Series paper. This is 5 7/8 by 5.5 and it's equally as nice on both sides, but I think it's going to be the pinky colour that I'm going to use, because what I'm actually going to put in it is one of these little hand creams. These are the 25ml 0.86 fluid ounces, and I've got them in all different colours, and I just thought that this one would look nice using the Prized Peony. So I'm going to put that on one side. I've got 2 strips of card. I think this is basic grey, I can't remember. It's either basic grey or grey granite. It's from our Neutrals pack of A4 card. I think it's grey granite. I think this is 3.5 inches long by 1/2 inch wide, and I've got it in petal pink, and these are the colours that are in this sweet grey and pink. And then I've got 2 of our stitched shape dies. I've got the 2 smallest, so I've got 1 in white and 1 in the petal pink, and I've got a spare in case I mess up my stamping. And I'm going to stamp a greeting, and the greeting that I'm going to use is from the Prized Peony Suite, but I'm just going to use this bit to a dear friend rather than the whole thing. This is all one stamp, so I'm going to mask off the top bit and hopefully get the to a dear friend just on this white piece. And these are the dies, if you've not seen them, that I'm using. There are 4 squares, 4 ovals and 4 circles, all stitched, and they all nest. And as I said, it's the 2 smallest ones. So I'm just going to put everything on one side for a minute. I've got my stamp already on my block, but I'm going to mask it off when I start to ink it up. So I'm just going to move these aside for now, and I think I'll actually do the stamping first. So I'm just going to line this little oval up on my grid paper to try and keep it fairly level. And as I say, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mask off the top half. So I've just got the to a dear friend. I've not made this project, I've no idea what it's going to look like, but the decoration that I'm using for the top is based around my card sketch number 3 that was posted on my blog, and rather than use it as a card, I'm using it as a design for the top of this little box. But I don't know when you're going to see this video, so the card sketch number 3 may have, been and gone. I'm just going to tear that off and then try and line this up now kind of fairly centrally on this oval. And actually I think I've done not a bad job there. Turn it round so you can see it. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that on one side for now, put the lid on my ink and throw away this inky piece of card. So I'm going to bring in my Simply scoreboard and my Designer Series paper, and I made this box like probably well over a year ago, and I never got round to filming a video. So I've had a prototype sat in a drawer all that time. So I've got my scribbled notes on a piece of paper that I'd kept inside the prototype. So on the 5.5 inch side, I'm just going to turn this over because I want the pink side out. So on the 5.5 inch side, we're going to score at 1 5/8. Just going to make sure I've got the bigger end with this being Designer Series paper. So 1 5/8, 2 1/2, 4 1/8, and 5. Then I'm going to turn it round, and on the 5 7/8, I'm going to score it at 7/8 and 5. 7/8 and 5. As I say, this could all go horribly wrong because this project has been sat in my drawer for well over a year. I'm just going to bring in my bone folder and fold and burnish now on all these score lines. Just make sure I've got them all. Okay, so I've got, I don't know how well you're going to see this, but I've got a rectangle, a square, a rectangle, a square, and then a skinny section. The skinny section is going to be the where I put the adhesive. So I'm going to work from this side. So I'm just going to have to look at my little prototype. I'm going to just get my scissors. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it over, I think, because no, I'm not. I can see it better from this side. So I'm going to cut off this rectangle at the bottom and then kind of mitre into there, and then do the exactly the same on the opposite corner. And hopefully I'll put it down and you should be able to see it. So now I'm going to cut up the score line on the square sections, and then I'm going to mitre the square sections, not the rectangles next to it, because the rectangles are the like part of the box, but these square sections form your tabs. So I'm going to cut up, and then if it's easier, fold those out of the way and cut away your score lines. And you can also give these a little bit of a trim if you want to, but it's probably not absolutely necessary on a box of this size. So that's what I've got so far, and I'm going to repeat this on the opposite side. So I'm going to turn it around and do exactly the same. So cut up on the score line and then wedge into those areas. So really what you're doing, you're cutting away that score line and leaving the wider sections, which are like the rectangle flaps, intact. And by cutting these wedges in, it gets rid of that bulk where you've done your score line, and it just helps your box go together a little bit better. So I'm going to fold in the bigger flaps, and again I'm just going to take a tiny little sliver off these flaps. So that's how it's looking now. So this is going to be a box that you can either completely seal, so they've got to rip it apart to get in it, or you could leave one end open and wrap ribbon or something round it. To be perfectly honest, I've not thought that far, so I don't know what I'm going to do, but the first thing I am going to do is put adhesive on this thin flap. So I'm going to bring in my silicone mat and put some of our new snail adhesive on here. And something that I saw another demo mention about this, in the past when we've had a run of something like this, when we had our fuse, you used to drag it along and you kind of did a check mark to break the adhesive. You don't need to with this. Just make sure that this part is kind of flat to your paper. Pull your adhesive along and then just lift up and that seems to work. So I'm going to fold in, and it's very sticky, this new adhesive of ours. I'm going to fold in the flap and bring this over, and it should all line up. I'm just going to give it a burnish. I think I've got adhesive on my finger. So what you need to do now, work out where you've glued it. So that's the back. So fold in your flaps, fold in this flap, and this one's going to have adhesive on to seal it. So I'm going to lay it like so and put some adhesive on here. So I'm going to tuck in the flaps. Hang on, where's the back? That's the back, isn't it? Tuck in the flaps, bring this one over, and then fold this one over, keeping it all nice and square. Just going to fold these out of the way, and I'm going to put my bone folder in just to grab that adhesive. So then this will fit inside, and again, just being mindful of where the back is, I can either seal it up or I could wrap ribbon around it. But I want to use these shapes. So I'm just going to assemble this first and see what it looks like. So I'm going to pop a dimensional on there, because I may just seal it shut completely, I'm not sure. Pop that on there. I'm going to bring in my little pieces, and I'm just going to flag the end. So I'm just going to cut up about 3/8 of an inch from the middle, and then I'm going to go from the point to where I've cut. Now if you've got a punch or anything, you can do this with a punch, or you could cut these on your Scan and Cut. I've just cut them by hand using my trimmer, and I'm just going to see how they look. So I'm just making like little banner ends. So my thinking was that I was going to put the pink one down first, and I cut these longer than I need, and then I'm going to put the grey one on top, but maybe a little bit shorter. In fact, I might not need to cut this at all. Let's see. And then I was going to lay that on top, and then I'd also got these leaves from another project that have already been die cut and embosses them at the same time. And I was thinking that I may maybe pop a couple of these in as well. I don't know, let me see. I might actually. So I might seal up the box completely. So I think I will. So I'm going to take this out and just put some adhesive on. So put my little hand cream back in, fold those in, keep it nice and square, and then seal it up. I might leave that one as it is and make this one just a little bit shorter. So chop maybe about 1/4 of an inch off that one. So let's I think my flowers need to be going up that way, so I'm going to pop that one on there like so. I don't know how well you can see this, but it really is a lot of adhesive that you get. This is just the new Stampin' Seal. There's a Stampin' Seal Plus, which is like the fast fuse, but this is a lot stickier than our old snail. So I'm going to pop that one on there just so it's a little bit overlapping and it's a little bit shorter than the pink one. Then this I'm going to pop in there, but I think I'm going to tuck these in. All these pinks and greys all kind of work nice together. Just trim off the bottom section and a little bit of wet glue. Got a little bit too much there, but you're not going to see it because it's going to be under. And then this, I think I might pop up on dimensionals. I'll put 2 dimensionals on it. Just put the lid on that. And pop that on there like so without squashing my box too much. So there it is. What do you think? So a cute little box for a little hand cream that you could give to anybody. Some simple bits of card cut, a couple of die cut shapes, a couple of leaves thrown in for good measure, but the basic layout for this is as per the card sketch number 3. Obviously when it was a card it had a matting layer on for the front of the card, but it had 2 flags and 2 ovals. So that's my take on my card sketch number 3. Anyway, I hope you like that simple and quick little project. Please give the video a thumbs up. If you need any of the products, they will be listed underneath the video and in the accompanying blog post, which will be on my blog at applelover53.co.uk along with this video. And as I say, if you need any of the products, you can purchase them directly from the links that will be there, which will take you straight to my Stampin' Up shop. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.